Hey there, fire signs and people with fire dominant charts. This is your weekly reading from the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree. It's about midnight. I am up. I'm sweating. I have the AC on and I still feel like I'm sweating. I do not know what's going on, but it's that time of year. It's hot out. So let's get into this reading. I'll explain the different cards as we go along, what they represent and whatnot. If you do want to jump ahead, I do incorporate a intuitive reading after I read from the author's books. So look for the timestamp below if you want to get to the intuitive part. Your center card, which is in the position of your will, this is really what's driving you. Sort of just by instinct this week, you have control from the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And let's take a little peek into this card here. This is usually my longest read from the book here, so hope you have a little patience. This represents the position of Jupiter in Capricorn. People with Jupiter in Capricorn feel an ever-demanding ambition to improve life and status by taking on positions of responsibility. They find fruitful and satisfying areas of life in which they are able to exercise care and judgment in decision-making. Achievement is important for Jupiter Capricorn well-being, and they aspire to positions of authority. Their achievements lead people with the planet sign combination to take on a prominent position in the community. They have the potential to become a pillar of society, and a strong ethical or religious sense will be important to them and to other people's image of them. This card reveals excellent prospects for public office and positions of power, however modest. There is always present a danger that ambition can interfere with home and family life, and this may become an area of conflict. The negative side of this card can be a stubborn sticking to the letter of the law in situations that demand a more flexible approach. This rigid attitude, taken to extremes, can also show a miserliness in small matters alongside excessive extravagance in large ones. When this card appears in a reading, it often indicates a need to take on full responsibility for one's current position and apply control in order to extricate oneself from a difficult situation. We're going to move over to the East position here, and this is representing the element of fire and the quality of your spirituality. Taken from the Dragon Oracles deck, we have Earth Dragon this week. Clears your path and land around you. Stay grounded, be ready to serve. Stuck energy is clearing. You can move forward in life. It is time to clear unwanted energies that are preventing your life from moving forward. Some of these may be in the earth, under your home or office, or where you travel. Call on the earth dragons and ask them to remove all that's not in accordance with divine light. Then sense the frequency rising within the land and your path. This card also suggests you may be called on to do planetary service work, as the earth dragons will take the opportunity to cleanse any ley lines you focus on. Take a moment to direct them to clear the planetary grid and visualize the grid glowing and shimmering. When you walk, think of the earth dragons and connect with them through the earth. Ask them to ground you and your vision, for this card signifies that they are now boosting your spiritual journey and you're ready to fly. Notice the progress you make. And let's look at your emotions this week in the South position for the element of water. We're going to take a card from the Hawaiian Wisdom deck. And you have Pahu, the sacred drum, speaking to timing and ritual. Pardon me in advance. I love this deck, but I do not speak Hawaiian, so if I muck up some Some words here, don't be surprised. Pahu appears when it is time to celebrate the sacred. Sometimes when our lives become busy and hectic, we forget to take time to reflect upon or celebrate that which is most precious. There is a Hawaiian proverb that can be translated, "Too often we only smell the ripe hala fruit after it has reached the ground." The proverb reminds us to take time to appreciate the good things someone does before it is too late. The word hala also means to err, to fail, to do, to miss. Is there something you have been meaning to do or to tell someone? Now is the time. Pahu reminds you to pay attention to details. Another Hawaiian proverb says the hula is pleasing because of the drummer. In other words, while minor details may go unnoticed, they are just as important as the major ones. Therefore, this may be the time to appreciate those who tend to the minor details of life. Pahu may also appear when it is time to switch from the mundane to the sacred, from doing that which is tedious to doing that which brings you joy. The word for joy in Hawaiian is lia. Lia is also the word that means pleasure, happiness, praise, please, smooth, progress, to see clearly, and orgasm. Another word for orgasm is huahuauai, which means boil up like water in a spring and to gush forth. Hua means egg, seed, fruitful, and productive. Huai means to disclose, reveal, uncover. Pahu indicates that it is time to participate in a ritual of some kind. Rituals include ceremonies, celebrations, or any special activity, such as making love or meditation. Pahu reminds you to connect with your higher purpose and what is truly important. And in the West position for the physical, for the earth element, we have clapsticks from the Dreamtime Reading Cards deck with the theme of reverberations. Clapsticks is the common name given to two pieces of wood that are carved and sanded for the purpose of creating music by banging them together. Different Aboriginal language groups shaped them in slightly different ways. The clapsticks my grandfather made for us were flattish and sat across your palm, rather than being held in the fist. The noise they create is deep, rhythmic, and reverberates well. They are used for music, dance, and ritual. Their sound echoes through the years, not only as a connection to ancestors, but also like a heart beating. The sound connects you with your own breath and heartbeat, and with the land you stand on as the vibrations reverberate through space and time. The clapsticks card signifies the need for cleansing and clearing space via the use of vibrations. It also reminds you of the rhythm of your own heartbeat and your own personal history, your cultural connection to your ancestors, which you carry in your blood and DNA. Clapsticks speak of cultural connections and encourage you to celebrate and share your culture. For me, they are a reminder of the importance of intergenerational learning and ensuring that the next generation knows the truth about the ancient songlines of my beautiful country of Australia. And in your northern position, representing the quality of air, and for your communication from the Aztec deck, we have hawk. Its keywords are rapid communication. If hawk has come into your life today, you know two things immediately. One, hawk is there because you know he was there waiting for you to attend to this matter. Two, now that he has shown himself, his message will be arriving very fast and will be important. Hawks are an abundant species, and in some parts of the country, you may be able to spot a hawk on a daily basis. This is not the type of appearance we mean. It will be a personal visit. One day we are driving the last 50 yards to our home. A hawk flew down just over the road of the car, over the roof of the car, and landed on top of our gate. He was a beautiful red-tailed hawk. We were simply amazed at his sudden visit. At the same time, alarms were sounding inside our heads as we wondered what his message would be. Past experience had taught us to pay attention to such a visit. Within hours, we were notified that a settlement had occurred in our favor and a check would be forthcoming. We were both relieved and grateful because important news is not always good news, and hawk, while beautiful and majestic, can also be a deadly predator. Okay, so I'm asking for guidance right now from Source Energy to give you the intuitive portion of your reading for this week. I need to come a little closer to the cards here. So there seems to be something here about feeling like you've matured into a place of wisdom. You understand what you can control in your world. You understand what you need to listen to from your world. And you understand what is beneath you and what you need to separate from that does not serve your highest good. You know how to center yourself in your reality. And you have a clear understanding of your presence in your reality, as well as your need to connect to something beyond you. You may have your own way of communicating with yourself, a very personal language that you use to communicate that's just sort of all for you and serves just you for what you need to gain a sense of inner clarity. You may be feeling like you've reached a point in searching as far as what you seek spiritually, and you're at a point of perhaps looking over where you've come from, reviewing the past, and just taking a different perspective on things that you normally would have. It looks like you've built up a lot of strength, and you're in a certain power that has a very odd type of presence to it. It's almost like it's got this sort of metaphysical edge, but also a sort of I want to say draconian feel to it. Something maybe even a little bit medieval. So maybe you're kind of toying with some concepts from those two realms, something very classical from the medieval age even, and something more modern, something more contemporary, something that's like an emerging energy, and kind of allowing yourself to embody both of these at the same time while you do some sort of review over, and it could just be over sort of your physical existence, even like how kind of your spirituality fits into your reality, and how perhaps it elevates your reality, even your day-to-day life. I feel like there's something that you may have caught emotionally that may feel like a little bit trapped to you. And there may be something about repetition with this that you, as much as you try to repeat, you can't quite release something emotionally. And even if you leave it alone, it just may kind of sit dormant in something. And there may be a certain danger to this that's hidden from you, like you're not realizing that this isn't necessarily the way to exist. You just may be a little bit naive or unaware of what's going on. So you may want to take a little bit of time and tune in emotionally I do see that there's a lot of positivity around you, a lot of beautiful, lush growth that you can have access to, but you may just be kind of isolated and not touching these emotional aspects of self as you could be. You may really be experiencing something that is mirroring you in your physical reality. You may have a strong partnership that you're working with. You may feel like you're very balanced this week. Your reality might feel very balanced, very stable. And you might have a good sense of everything's in place as it should be, kind of ordered. And you may have been achieving this through good partnerships. And it feels like there's a lot of, if everything is kind of in place and feeling right, there's a lot of resonance that can have this beautiful ripple effect through your reality, which really creates a lot of harmony for you in that realm. You seem, communication-wise, as if definitely in a state of suspended animation, for whatever that means, but almost like out of character, like how maybe you normally would communicate. You're kind of not using your normal skill set to do that. And there may be the sense of just almost trickery with it, or like, I don't want to say too much of magic, but like an illusionary quality, just something that really unexpected. Like you should normally be behaving in a certain way, but somehow, confound it, you are doing something completely different that actually almost feels like it's defying the laws of nature, is I guess what I'm trying to get at here. Whatever you are tapping into, though, has you elevated. You're definitely in a higher mind right now, and it may be provoking you in a good way, like maybe bringing about a lot of passionate thoughts and wanting to combine those passions with a sense of higher purpose right now for you. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. So thank you, fire signs, for joining me. I do some other readings on my channel, so if you want to check those out, feel free to. Please have a wonderful week. Sending you lots of love and care, and hope that you'll join me again.